Says we're streaming.
All right. I think we're live. I think we did it, Steve.
I'll take my pulse. Yes, I'm alive. I'm alive.
Well, we're just popping in here to let you all know about a pretty exciting workshop that Steve and I are co-producing this coming Thursday. There are still a few seats left, so we just wanted to let you know all about it and also give you some pretty incredible tips on increasing your impact, your income, your reach, your careers through the power of your voice.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting chat because we're combining two of the main platforms, multi-platforms that you help people get on, and the podcasting platform. Both are, well, I guess you can say they're coming back to life after COVID. Podcasting, PodGuesting really started growing through COVID, but the work that you do helping people get on physical and virtual stages, again, is really, really coming back to life. And we're going to talk about the different ways that they could get on them and also, most importantly, monetize them or get value from them, because it's not all just about the cash. It's about, as you just said, the income and the impact that you can make. So we're just going to have a bit of a chat around today, but most importantly, most excitedly, a co-produced workshop on helping them. It's the art and the science of being able to be a profitable pod guest and how to get your voice out there. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and let's demyth the whole idea of profitization, right? Let's talk about that a little bit, because so many people they feel that when the word profit is an icky word. What's icky in my book is not getting your voice out there, right? If you don't spend $1 on marketing, whether you are promoting a nonprofit, whether you're just promoting, you just want to make a difference in the world, or you want to make a difference in the world through your career, right? What things, service, products that you're selling. It's all valid. It's all vital. It's all what makes the world go round. And it's not sustainable unless that P word is in there, profit, right? You cannot, when you do good, you get to do more good, and it's sustainable. So let's talk a little bit about that, because you are a premier sales expert. You've written some incredible books. You are known around the world. And when it comes to sales, you're one of the most natural. Like, I never feel like I'm being sold when I'm with you. I feel like I'm being served. So just tell me, what's the code that you cracked there, Steve?
Well, there's about 10 answers to everything that you just said there. So I'm going to go through a couple of the early things that you just said.
Excellent.
And a lot of people talk about ROI, return on investment. And I talk about ROE, return on energy. Now, the energy you might spend might be creating some income to pay for you to do other things, but return on energy. A lot of people run around and they get on podcasts, other people's podcasts, because they believe that that's free marketing and advertising for them to get out there. But it's not really. You're spending time. You may not be paying to get on there, but that time is taking you away from other potential income producing activities. But it's also using your energy. And I've seen a lot of people waste a lot of energy running around getting on other people's podcasts. Now, if you are a not-for-profit and you are wanting to make an impact, one of the two quotes that I heard from one of the great marketing mentors, Dan Kennedy, he said, there is one purpose for a business, and that is to make a profit. Now, the purpose that you do after you make the profit and what you spend that money on and the impact you do with that money, that's up to you. It could be helping so many different people. But if you do not make a profit, you will not be in business, and therefore you can't help people. One of the other best ways for people that have an issue about making money and making profit, and I heard it many, many years ago, one of the best way to help the poor people is not be one of them.
One of the best ways to help poor people is to not be one of them. That's amazing. Love
be one of them. So the people that have an issue with sales, the definition, look, I started my sales career It was basically by accident. I was a professional athlete, crushed 3 discs in my back through rehab. I fell in love with the fitness industry, thought, I could do this. Now, back then, the fitness industry was bang, hard sell, hard sell, hard sell. It was horrible. And I was trained that way and I hated it. But then I came across this one definition that changed everything. Selling is professionally servicing other people's needs for a mutually beneficial gain. Somewhere, somehow, if they're clicking on a button, they're picking up the phone, they're walking through your front door, if they're inquiring in any way, they have a need. You are to professionally service it. And that mutually beneficial gain is they get what they came for and you get adequately rewarded. That's it. And if somebody clicks, knocks, walks, whatever it is, they've put their hand up and says, please help me. It is your right, your duty, your obligation to sell to them. That is professionally service them and you get rewarded. When you turn that around and say, yeah, I am servicing, if I'm letting these people down, if they walk out the door, then it's a different mindset. Because if you believe that you have things that help people, it's your obligation to help them. And that means you have to eat, therefore you have to get rewarded.
Well, you know what? That's a really good point. Like if I got marled up, I was in a car accident or whatever. If something happened and I needed a doctor, I would not expect that doctor to fix me up and not pay him. I wouldn't be, halfway mended and say, well, wait a minute, you're going to charge me for this? I wasn't expecting to pay. I'd be like, fix me up. I want the best one because I want my arm the way that I want the arm. Like I want it fully functional. I don't want anybody educating themselves on me. I want somebody who's educated. I want somebody who knows what they're doing, and I'm very willing to pay for it. And I think anybody who's looking for a solution out there is very willing to pay for that solution. And as a matter of fact, follow the Japanese lead, right? If you want something to have perceived value, then you pay for it. If people don't value what they don't pay for, it's just human nature. And if there was a free doctor out there who's just kind of figuring his way around, I may not choose him for an important procedure. I may opt instead for somebody that I know knows what they're talking about, knows that they're going to be the solution to my issue, my problem, whatever it is. And I'll happily pay for that. And that's how people are. They're looking for an answer, a solution to their problem, whatever that problem might be. If you have that solution, you're selling them not that hour of your time or that thing that they download, whatever it might be. You're selling them those decades, those years of all of the research and the time and the trial and error of you perfecting that solution. That's what you're selling, and they're very happy to pay for that.
Yeah, it reminded me of something funny that I did. I've only done it a couple of times. And somebody didn't want to take one of my programs, didn't want to spend a lot of money. And they said, look, I just want to pay for an hour of your time. And I thought, fine, okay, sit down beside me. Don't say anything. Don't ask me anything. We'll just sit together. But I want to pay for an hour of your time. You are paying for an hour of my time. Oh, you want to pay for an hour's access to the 40 years of business that I've got locked away in the brain. That's different. And that's what you're doing
good.
when you're working with people. They're not paying for that 1 hour of your time. They're paying for the X number of years of experience, knowledge that you've accumulated. And that is worth so much more. And I totally agree. And way back in the days with the health club, we would have people just ring up, I'm just looking for the cheapest gym. Sometimes I'd be in a playful mood. Sometimes I'd be in a frustrated mood and say, oh, do you ring around and shop for the cheapest doctor? No, why would I? Well, they're both to do with health. We're here to help you get the best life possible. If you're looking for the cheapest gym, that's the one down the road. And we were always probably either the first or the second most expensive because of the care and the type of programs that we gave. And we prided ourselves on that. is because of the quality that we did. And I said, well, if you're looking for the cheapest gym, you're probably not the right member for us. Do you want their number?
That's really wonderful. And really, Steve, that's what the beauty of podcasts are, I really believe, because people are willing to pay that premium dollar when they know you, they like you, and they trust you, right? And so the beauty of podcasting is you can be a guest on other people's podcasts. So right then and there, you've got third party validation, right? Because that host would not have they qualify you. There's a series of that each different podcast does to make sure that they're not bringing on a dud, that they're bringing on somebody who's going to have real insights and real value for the show that they put their lifeblood into, right? So right then and there, you are third party validated. And then their audience gets to hear your insights and what you have to share. And just to get a glimpse into who you are sharing that, that knowledge, that hard-earned, curated knowledge that you've earned over the decades of your life. And they get a little glimpse into that. And then when they want more, that's where the PodGuesting profits come in that Steve has so brilliantly created a framework for. Do you want to kind of give us a glimpse into that, Steve?
Yeah, the interesting thing is, and it's because it's been very one-dimensional. You get on there, and most people are taught to be a good pod guest, as in you need to know your story, you need to know your stuff, you need to answer the questions well, be articulate, be professional. So a lot of people will teach them how to be a professional interviewee, answer the questions right. And that's really only a minute part of the story. It is all about creating that relationship. And we talk about the PodGuesting relationship trinity. There's three real relationships. There's the relationship. Okay, you can be my host for today. I'm the guest, and we have a relationship. Now, the first part of that relationship we talk about is be the prize, not the professor. A lot of people are taught, get on there and share your story, share your expertise, give away something free, hope that they'll go there and get it, and then they'll go into your funnel. And that's pretty tacky, but it's pretty par for the course. That's the one way that most people will think that I'm expecting to get some leads, some calls, some questions, some clients, hopefully. That's the one way they think about it. So we're creating a relationship now. The next one is for me, the guest, to create a relationship with the audience. Now, a lot of times me, the guest, will just answer the questions to you. Yeah, thanks, Antoniette. Yep, great, Antoniette. Yep, here it is. But if you can swing it around to the audience, and Antoniette, this one's just for your people. I'm going to talk to your people right now. This one I've just really prepared just for your audience. Now, the audience then feels as if they're pulled in.
Yeah.
It's the three-way coffee chat. You might be talking to one person while you're sitting having coffee, but you're also acknowledging, and the other person's nodding and coming in and out. So you want to pull the audience in because it's the audience you also want to have a relationship with. Now, the third one that we've got a great masterclass coming up. We'll tell them a little later. The third one is the relationship between the host and the audience. It's because of that relationship that they're both there. The host wants to give great value. Now, when you can elevate and edify the host in front of their audience, they're going to start feeling good. They're going to have a surge of dopamine, and the audience are thinking, wow, this person has a great relationship with my friend, the host. Then the whole barriers are breaking down, and all three relationships are growing through the podcast. Now, what's happening there is the audience, because you're bringing them in and you're talking to them, they're having a surge of oxytocin, which is the belonging drug. That's the feel good. And yeah, it's like you're wrapping your arms around them and creating that relationship. By the time you're getting to the end, nobody wants it to end. It's like, well, I'm getting some great information. I feel as if I know this person. I like spending time with this person. Of course, I'm going to, whatever the next step is, take the next step with that person, whether it's download their guide, their book, book a call, whatever it is. They feel as if it's a natural progression because they already have the relationship. Now, when you just, try to be the professor and give really good quality information, at the end, the host and the audience are thinking, well, that was nice, and then walk off. It's not like I want to spend time with my new best mate. And that's one of the biggest things that I see people do. It's just very one-dimensional without really thinking about the two other relationships.
I love relationships is where it's at, right? People don't want to be sold. They want the answer to their solution, right? And they buy with their heart. Most of the time, they're not going to buy just through strict rationalization, right? They're going to buy if they trust you in their gut. And that happens through relationships. We have relationships with people we trust. We hopefully don't have relationships with people that we don't trust. So that's number one. And I love the way that you pull in the audience. I can say that I've been interviewed quite a bit, and I hadn't really thought about that part of it. I really am it's a two-way conversation, right? And I love how you said coffee chat. So let's say there's more than one person at the table. You and I are engaging, but we're not going to act like that other person isn't there. We're going to draw them into the conversation as well, and include them. Well,
I'll jump in on that one. Sorry for butting in. I'll jump in on that because
that's perfect.
The people that are here watching this right now, I want you to visualize two people having a cup of coffee in the far corner with their back turned to you, geeking out on whatever their own topic is. Now, I was researching all of this and hearing people do good podcasting and bad podcasting. And a lot of the ones that I found felt like the host and the guest, had their back turned to me, talking about geek speak that really excited them. And there was some good information that I was picking up, but I felt as if their back was to me instead of turning around and pulling everybody in and creating that relationship with them. It's like, well, hey, yeah, this is for us. This is for you. And the thing that you were saying towards the end of that was people do buy on emotion. They anchor it on logic. Now, we talk a lot. The new book that's coming out is called Flow Selling. It's all about the energy flow. Now, if you look where emotion come from in the Latin, emotere is energy in motion. And a lot of people don't look at this. And our masterclass in a couple of days' time, I got to be careful of the time zones because I talk in my time zone. It's going to be Thursday. Thursday noon Central. I remember that. It's Thursday noon Central. That's your time.
Steve's in the future right now.
Yeah.
Tell us what to bet on.
Yeah. And it's about how do you increase your own personal magnetic energy? And that's not, be bouncy. It's like, well, how do you be perceived as the person to give the energy that people want to hang with you? But then how do you, and we'll treat the host and the audience as the buyer's energy, buying your information, your knowledge, your expertise. They're investing time. So they're spending something to be there. So they're a buyer no matter what. It may not be the money, but they're spending time, energy to be there and listen to you. Now, quite often, if you're not working on your energy and you're not working on their energy to elevate their energy, when it gets time, and I've seen this in sales discussions, and you get to the end of a podcast, it then gets to that wonderful time. We've had fantastic. Oh, can you tell the people how to get in touch with you? People slip into the sales. It's like, well, you can contact me via here and you download my free gift, and it's all the tacky. What's happening is two magnets, probably seen this happen, two magnets coming together. And if you're holding them a certain way, they'll get to a point and they'll just repel. You'll hear the guest energy switch from being that fantastic person that's giving out spend helpful information to now I need to swap and pitch, go get my free gift and pitch, give me a call. And the audience will pick up on that and their energy will switch. So no matter what will happen, you won't get them together. Whereas if you do it the right way, and we teach you how to build the energy all the way through. So they're running there. They're saying, tell us the next bit. And the magnets just snap together. It's like snap. I was like, right, okay. I really want to run to that person. And that's some of the sales training that I teach, how to have your audience, guests and prospects run to you asking to buy. And it's all about the energy and not about the education.
Yeah, you just made me think of when I never do this. There's just no way I have the wherewithal to do this. But the day after Thanksgiving, when people like stand in long lines to buy the thing, I know that they're getting a special deal, but I really think it has more to do with, because $10 off is not worth, to me, it's definitely not worth fighting the crowds and wearing the heavy coats and being out there all night. I think it's more about the dopamine of knowing that they get what what they've been wanting, right? They finally get to give themselves permission to get that thing that they've been wanting. And I think that the Black Friday, whatever it is they call it, of service is that they finally found, they've been looking, they've been wanting to solve this issue. They've been wanting to figure out who to go, who to turn to. And they finally found somebody that they could trust and who has the solutions packaged in a way that they feel like they can act on, right? They can implement. And so in that way, they'll happily buy the thing. Because first they got to know you, and you came third party verified, right? Through whether you're speaking on a stage, on a podcast, on somebody else's platform, you're third party validated. They got to hear you. They got to hear some of those solutions that you gave them. So you're giving them some nourishment. They're digesting it. And they're like, that's amazing. Where do I get more of that? And it's almost cruel, Steve. Tell me if you agree with this. But it's almost cruel to kind of dangle these solutions in front of them and say, okay, go figure it out. I hope you do well. Go figure it out. Instead of saying, hey, some of you can take some of this that I've shared with you. You can run with it. You can implement it. You're good to go. Some of you, if you're like me, need to link arms with somebody or need maybe a little bit more. If you'd like to know that there's a little bit more that you can glean and that I can invest into you, then this is the way. Right? This is how you can do it.
Yeah, I'll take some work out of my new book that's not out yet, but it's coming
okay,
very
hold
soon.
that thought, because I want to dive into that. For those of you who just joined us, this is a little precursor, a little sneak peek into a pretty exciting workshop that Steve and I are doing together this Thursday. We only have a few more seats left, and we just wanted to hop in here and see who has the greatest interest. You'll be able to come in to my agency. I'm a speaker agent. And Steve is a celebrated author and really one of the world's biggest, to me, one of the most respected sales people, because he sells in a way that is personal and authentic and real. And it sells as service, not sells as, I don't know, sleaziness, whatever else salesmen kind of get the bad rap for, right? And we are putting on a completely free 2-hour deep dive into this subject on Thursday. It's from noon to 2 Central US time. So it'll be very, very early in the morning for Steve in Australia, but he's getting up to share his insights with you. Normally, these workshops are reserved only for for the speakers that I represent through my agency. We're opening up the door for a limited number of guests, public guests outside of my agency. So you get a sneak peek into how the agency works, what it's like to be represented, and also get these deep insights on how to get your voice out in a powerful way, simply by being a guest on other people's podcasts. Right? How fun is that? How wonderful is that? But let's, if you're just joining us earlier, Steve talked about ROE, return on energy, right? Don't just get on anybody's podcast just because they'll have you. Get in front of your right fit audiences and do it in a way that serves them and profits you. right? Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you missed that part, definitely watch the replay of this because we fully covered that. So Steve, tell us a little bit more about your new book that's coming out in January. So again, talk about sneak peeks. You get a little sneak peek into his book called Flow. Is it Flow? Sales Flow?
Flow selling. And it's all about the energy. And it's a lot of what we're basing the masterclass, the workshop on. Now, the people that are watching this, the people that are around you, primarily speak. And I talk about trinities. I call that the holy trinity of authority marketing. Videos is the fastest way to get yourself out there. Have you seen as an authority? A book is the most powerful, but speaking is the most lucrative. And that's the biggest thing. January 21, from here in Australia, in the middle of COVID, I decided to move my business and start most of it in North America. One networking introduction, one event, and primarily from networking and being a guest on podcast, it went from 0 to 6 figures in 10 months.
Wowza.
And each year after that, I've been generating 6 figures from being a podcast guest.
Wow.
And it cost me 0 to get on those podcasts. Now, very quickly, what we're going to share today and much deeper in the actual masterclass, the workshop we're going to do, is we were speaking a little earlier about most people get on as a guest. They think that all they have to do is answer the questions, be eloquent, and give some great information and give away a free gift. That is just one of the tiniest ways that you could possibly generate clients and income back to you. We talk about the 4 Ps. We'll go into them in depth in the actual workshop. And that P is actually purchase. Ideally, we'll give away some information. We'll give away a free gift. They'll get into my funnel and sooner or later they'll buy something from me. I don't like that way. I do generate some very significant clients from that, but it's not the sole focus. And I'll quickly go through the 4 Ps. There is purchase. There is pass on. There are going to be people there that'll get excited that will want to share you with other people. And I've had one person in one of the earliest networking events got so excited about what I was doing that he actually organized me to be on 20 different podcasts.
Wow.
So pass on. There was a lot of great energy from that person. And we did some deals and we did some great work. Then the 2 big ones is promote and partner. Now, you can co-promote an event like we're doing. We got together. We've got excited about the information that we both do. So we're co-promoting events. And then there's partner. I've got a person that interviewed me just last week that they do email work. And he said, look, your people need to be able to have an email sequence and everything after that. And my people need to know how to do what you do. Why don't we put a program together where we help serve both sets of people? And that's going to generate significant income for both because his emails are going to be so much better than mine. And his people are going to know how to monetize getting on podcasting. So when you go into a conversation before the podcast, during the podcast, after the podcast, with those 4 things in mind, not just, I hope somebody gets my free download one day, then your whole world opens up. And a lot of the value that I get from being on podcasts happens before the podcast is even recorded. The deals are done because the eyes are open to all of the different opportunities to work with that person. We've even now got a checklist on how to evaluate the potential value of a podcast to you, as in, the host, their audience, the types of things. And when you go into it, and as a podcast professional, that doesn't mean sterile. That means as a professional. You work with some of the highest level speakers. They are professional, but they are some of the most likable when they're on stage and through their speaking life. Just because you're professional doesn't mean you're sterile. That means that you are serving the host, the audience in a much better way, and you are getting a greater return on energy and or investment, whichever you're putting into it. So when you've got the framework for the before, during, and after, then you're actually going to be able to use it as a valid leveraging tool to grow your business.
There was a ton of gold in there. I hope you guys have pens and paper, but you know what? I wouldn't even worry about that a whole lot, because we're going to go even more succinctly into each one of these insights that Steve so brilliantly dropped for you just now on Thursday. So clear your schedule. Be with us from noon to 2 Central Time, US Central Time, on Thursday, totally free. Steve and I will be basically modeling to you how to really pour yourself into others so that they get true value, and then they want that next step of your solution. Sometimes we give it all, right? And some of you can take that and implement it on your own. And others of you will say, you know what? That's the path I want to take. I don't want to take it alone. How can I take it with you? How can I do that with you? We're going to be sharing that and so much more with you this Thursday, if you're in the US. And if you're in Australia, it would be actually Friday. And then also,
It'll be Friday,
be
5 a.m. So some of my people may get up, but I don't know how committed to me or they are. But 5 a.m. They will be. They'll be getting up and having the coffee, getting 3 or 4 different pens ready, because we're just going to throw so much in 2 hours to be able to really get the message out. Because just sorry for butting in, but what people don't realize now is that in 2020, there was 550,000 podcasts. Now there's 2.3 million.
wow.
In America alone, there's 100 million people who watch a podcast at least once, who listen to a podcast at least once a week. So
Wow.
the numbers there, and 89% of marketers surveyed, just the report came out 1 month ago. So marketers surveyed very recently said they are going to increase audio marketing spend. So PodGuesting and podcasting is now becoming a much greater and more valid form of marketing for some of the bigger companies. And I say, look, if they're spending tens, hundreds, millions of dollars on their audio marketing, don't you think we should follow suit? Because it is becoming an extremely valid and powerful form of marketing your business. And the great thing about it, the reason to do it is most people don't.
I love that. And you know what, Steve? I didn't even know any of that when I decided to launch Speak Pact, which I'm thrilled that you're going to be an expert on my new show, Speak Pact, that comes in January, right about the time your book drops, right? Your new flow selling book. Super exciting month. But I didn't know all of that. So I'm even more excited. I just knew that there are people with a message, right? Experts out there with a message that I want to see pass the torch, right? I want to see all that curated knowledge out there to those who are laying awake at night asking for those answers and those solutions. And so that show is going to be about how speakers do that in the most effective and profitable way, and the hosts that are the ones who bring them onto their shows, their platforms, into their media, and help to get their voices heard. So I love those stats. I didn't even know the depth of them. So super exciting news. And what that means for our audience, for those who are listening right now live and then later on the replay, is if you take a pulse and you've got a pulse and you're breathing, you also have a message that other people are praying for. Right. And what is the best way to get that message out there? Take out some Facebook ads. I don't know, take out some radio ads, take out some newspaper ads, whatever. No, it's getting your voice out there, getting onto stages, and the quickest, most accessible stage to get onto are podcasts. And Steve just gave you the numbers, right? So there's very likely going to be your niche, those people who are asking for insights and solutions that you have directly all ears, ready to hear you. It's not just kind of the shot in the dark, like a lot of advertising is. You just kind of throw it out there and hope the right people hear it. But when you talk about a podcast, those are people that are tuning in because they're looking for that exact solution that you're giving. You've got all of those options, and there's ways we both Steve and I are going to be giving some gifts during the workshop that's coming up. And the link to that workshop, the registration is totally free, is being dropped in the comments. So go ahead and register because there's not a lot of seats left. But we're both going to be giving gifts. One of my gifts is to help you identify the podcast in your niche and whether or not it has anybody listening to it. Right. And that's going to be a totally free gift that you're going
Wow,
to get
that's
from
handy.
me.
Very handy. Yeah, look, I'm going to follow up on that point because I've been doing unqualified research and I've been listening to so many people, and so many people are complaining, let's just say bitching and moaning about the exposure, reach, or non-reach that they're getting in a lot of social media. Now, we're doing this live stream. Now, we actually don't know whether there's 1 or 1 million people that are going to watch this or even see it or get in front of. We don't know. And because the algorithms are changing daily, if we put this on, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, we don't know. And it's a gamble. When you're getting on and you've done your research, like you've got the tools to be able to do the research and say, well, this person gets a regular, and it doesn't matter whether it's 10 or 10,000. You're getting in front of 10 or 10,000 people that person has a regular relationship with, and you are being personally introduced. Now, the good thing about that, when you are a pod guest, you are being edified. You are being held up as the expert that this person has invited to share time with his people. On social media, you're just flying by, basically saying, look at me, I got some stuff. It's all about you doing major self-promotion. Whereas as a pod guest, you're being asked to talk about yourself. You're being asked to present what it is that you do. You're being asked to invite their audience into you and your life. It's a whole different paradigm shift. Now, as far as return on investment and value, my gut feel is the value is shifting more to podcasting than social media organic content. Just my feel, just my listening to what people are complaining about out there. So if you're looking to spend time and effort in a particular way, do you want to spend 2 hours a day just scrolling, crawling, and trolling their social media, hoping somebody will listen to you? Or do you want to spend a little bit of time finding the right people to talk to? Some of those 2.3 million out there, there's lots of different ways to find them. And then just say, hey, if you're the right person, you've got the right people, and I'm a good fit, let's put something special together and create some great relationships. To me, there's much better value in doing that than spending the time sitting on the different platforms.
You just made so many excellent points right there. But one of the things I would love to hone in on is more and more I'm getting introduced to other people that would be my right fit client, and the ones who are already my clients or maybe colleagues who know, hey, Antoniette is actually the one who can take your career the way you want it to go, right? That is so much powerful than me going out there saying, hey, I'm the one that can take your career where you want it to go. Those introductions are invaluable. I've already jumped so many hurdles just by that one act of whether it's an email introduction or a literal introduction where, they're texting or calling. That is so much more valuable. And essentially, That's what a podcaster is doing. They're entrusting you and introducing you to the people who trust them, right? So automatically there's so many hurdles that you are just jumping right over because you've already got the trust factor because they worked for it. That person's relationship worked for it. And you're stepping in and really being able to give your insights and give your knowledge on the particular subject. And if it resonates and it's what that person specifically needs, then it's kind of a no-brainer. They're going to reach out to you, or, get your next thing, hop onto the wagon of your next thing to get that solution that they've been wanting and happily pay for it. Right. So
Absolutely.
when we go to buy a car, or we go to buy a stereo system, or even a fancy, nice meal, right? We don't look at the menu. We don't look at the specs as much as we look at somebody that we trust say, hey, I bought that. I got that. I went there. I did that. And it was fabulous. You must give it a try. Then you're just like, okay, done. I'm going to do that, versus somebody who says, don't even go there. Don't waste your date night at that place, or don't even try that car. I know that the brochures are all fancy, but when you get in there, everything falls apart. You're like, okay, done. I'm not dealing with that. Right. Like, there's a lot of power in that third party validation when you trust somebody, or somebody who your prospect trusts, validates who you are. And that is really the only place, Steve, that I can think that is fully accessible. There's kind of an unending supply of, is through the power of being a podcast, right?
Yeah, it's virtually group referrals. That you can boil it down to, if you're getting in front of their people, they're pretty well referring you to their group. They're trusting you that you're going to deliver great knowledge and not ruin the relationship. And for those who missed it earlier, we spoke about the three different relationships in a podcast. We'll talk about them in depth. And when you know how to enhance and respect those, then it makes a massive difference. And instead of doing the typical, hey, I'll answer some questions, here's my free gift. One of the things that I hate, I'm going to give them a sneak peek of the training. Here's one of the things that we'll be doing in the actual master class, and it's what we teach in our fast track program. And a lot of people will answer the questions, sit there nicely, be as eloquent as possible, and then wait to the end and think, I hope he's going to mention my free gift, my free gift. When you do that, when you call it the free gift, it's the throwaway piece of rubbish. It could be the best information in the world, but it's perceived as my free gift. It's the thing that you want to give to get my email address. I know that. It's the free thing that you want my email address, and I'm just going to go on your list, get your newsletter, and whatever else you're going to hound me. Whereas we teach people that early in the discussion, that there'll be a conversation and the host will say, oh, that's absolutely brilliant information. Thanks so much, Steve. I know my people are going to love it. I've got something else for your people. This is just for your people. It's called, got a high value title, and it actually goes and gives a little bit more about ABCD. It's going to be really good for them to get. Oh, we'll talk about that at the end, so they can get their hands on that at the end. I know they're going to love it. Now, I've just sold the value of something that I'm going to give them. It's got something special. They're perceiving that value and they can't wait to get it. And then we'll do that maybe once more to just give a little. Yeah, that's also going to be something in the guide. I call them minor back pocket guides. One of the back pocket guides I've got just for your people that are this. So you're actually building, here's that word again, the energy flow through the conversation to you. You enhance the energy flow towards the end. And it's like, well, if you want to keep this energy flowing, you grab my back pocket guide because it's got videos and training. It's almost like another podcast, a workshop in its little download. Go and grab it. And they keep it going. And that's the thing. That's what the book Flow Selling is all about. How do you create and enhance the energy flow to enhance the client flow? And that is what you can do. You must do in a PodGuesting situation. I felt like I
Okay.
got up on my soapbox then,
That
but
that
anyhow.
was a mini course right there. So why don't you, as we close out, Steve, why don't you let everyone know why they don't want to miss Thursday with us? I mean, even if they have to change something in their schedule, it's going to be so valuable. And honestly, guys, this is not a pitch. I really don't believe we're going to be doing it in this way free ever again. It's not just going to be you hearing me and Steve. It's going to be interactive. There's going to be some laser coaching. It's going to be a very, very rich experience that people usually pay for. So he and I are just kind of testing out this model. We know the value that we bring, and you get to be the recipient of that if you grab one of these seats. So I'm going to let you close us out, Steve.
The big thing and what they're going to walk away with, they're going to walk away with, I don't know how many years between the two of us, a lot of knowledge. We're here to help you, to workshop with you on how you can get the best value out of your voice. Antoniette's going to show and share with you a variety of different stages that you can get on and how she can help you get on those. I'm going to give you a complete framework. It's not guesswork. It's the exact framework that I've been using for the last 3 years to generate 6 figures just from PodGuesting year in, year out. And there's a lot of behind the scenes that you're actually going to get. But the other thing is, because it's a masterclass / workshop, you're going to ask questions. We've got time for you to take us down rabbit holes. We've got time to be able to work with you to say, would this work for you? And actually tap into the years of experience to say, hey, this is something that we can actually give you. Now, PodGuesting is becoming a very powerful, very valid form of marketing. I just quoted the statistic, 89% of marketers will be spending more money on audio marketing than they did last year. So if you want to miss it at your peril, because this wave is coming. Podcasting is growing up, and now it's time for you to treat it as a valid part of your business marketing. Now, if you just want to come along and have a little play or just do podcasting just because it's something nice to do and you've got lots of time in your hands, then that's fine. You can miss this. But if you really do want to enhance your business as a professional of some description, then you better be here. And most importantly, commit the 2 hours and commit to taking notes. But do me one favor. Promise me that you'll implement some of what we teach you, because I don't just get up at 5 a.m. for anybody. I'm getting up for you guys. So I'm looking forward to it. This will be the deepest dive free session I've ever done. And it's only because of my relationship with Antoniette and her relationship with you. So do give her the respect, is grab yourself a seat, get along, and you will see some massive results as other people that I've worked with in as little as 2 weeks.
All right. That's a great way to wrap it all up. So there's a link in the comments for you to register, no cost, to the Art and Science of Podcasting Profits, a framework that Steve has brilliantly created that I immediately knew was a goldmine, right? And I love the way that you said framework versus guesswork, right? Isn't that so much better? Do you want to circle the mountain, or do you just want the way? Let's give you the way. So that's going to happen Thursday. Go ahead and sign up, get registered, and we will see you on Thursday. Ciao,
See you
ciao for
then.
now.